Hello everyone, this is another video of introverts, and this is another D&D commission art. This time is quite different from the others because I usually draw portraits and it's just the character, full-bodied character at the front and a very simple background, but this one is more of a narrative painting, I suppose. It depicts a scene somewhat in a kind of video game loading screen vibe to it. And this is the Norogh from the ManaFallRPG. Yeah, the scene is just them chilling. And one of the bigger challenges in this artwork is that I have to draw the background. I wouldn't say it's difficult, but because it's one of the few times that I actually draw an elaborate background, I was quite nervous about it. I looked up quite a lot of Riot Games splash art as reference, but also other D&D, not actually D&D, no, other concept art. Usually when I look up concept art on Pinterest, I'll be more likely to get environmental art as a result, and those are more helpful. The difference between drawing the background and the character is that for the background, it has more painting strokes to it because it's at the back, you don't need a lot of details. And what happens is that you can be more loose in your strokes and it can still look good. In fact, it looks better than if you render it as much as the characters, because otherwise it would look very, well, too messy and too complex. It's better to have the contrast between the characters and the background, so the characters will have the biggest contrast in colors, also the most vibrant colors and the most elaborate rendering, while the background is on the other end of the spectrum. But anyway, this video I kind of want to talk about time management. Fun topic. So if you don't know, I work full-time at the university, and the drawing is a side job. It's kind of like a freelance drawing on the side. I don't know about other people, but I generally have a lot of ideas and a lot of projects in my head, and I just want to make a lot of things, but I don't really find the time to do it. For example, I want to have the idea for this fan art, I have this idea for this comic, and I have another story that comes up in my brain, but I just don't know what medium I want to express it in. Another problem is that I want to stay healthy as well. I want to have regular exercise and sleep for 8 hours a day, and also maintain some social relationships, and I want to exist in this world rather than just being a ghost. Finally, I have this feeling that perhaps a lot of people have had already, but I'm just too late into the party, is I wish there were more hours in the day, or I hope that I can physically be able to sleep less hours and still be able to perform at my optimal. Just like those genetically blessed people like Mozart or Bach, and I don't know, Benjamin Franklin. I think I'm throwing up random names now. Historically, there are people, you can look them up, that can sleep for 4 hours a day regularly, not just cramming for exams. It's for every day they just sleep for 4 hours and maybe less, and still be able to perform at their optimal. Come on, this is so unfair. I want that too. And anyway, as you can tell from my voice, I sound very tired. Maybe I sound drunk as well, off topic. And so I thought about some other methods that I can use that can save up more hours. And what do? Well, first thing everyone think of is to have some screen detox, social media detox, or at least calculate how many hours you spend on your devices. There are some apps that you can do that, and then just have a normal day like you usually do, and at the end of the day, look back at the app, track how many hours you spent, and it will really surprise you. For me, the screen time is I'll tell you, it's a little bit inaccurate. So it tells me about like 5 to 8 hours, which is basically impossible because I have to work. But the reason it tracked me of 5 to 8 hours is because I sometimes would open the screen and just listen to YouTube and with my earplugs. So I just listen to YouTube, not watching it per se, but it still says something. It says something about multitasking, which I read from other research reviews, is that multitasking is what would take you more time than if you just line up the task and do them one by one. Because multitasking, it makes you feel like you're very productive, you're doing multiple things at once. But in actuality, you are not doing multiple things at once. You are switching from different tasks in a period of time, so that you are doing perhaps maybe task A, and then 5 minutes later I just switch my head to task B, or in a few seconds I just switch my head to task A. I feel like I'm multitasking, but actually I'm not. And the reason that it takes up more time than if I do things one by one, it has something to do with the concept of focus and attention. We as humans, we take some time to get in a flow state, and flow state will take maybe 50 minutes to 45 minutes for you to get in. And if you just switch between tasks, you are resetting that timer for you to get into your optimal performance. So if you focus on just one task, maybe I just spend 1 hour in task A, after some period of time I can get into my optimal performance, and I can perform at my best ability and at the highest speed, so I can check that task away and move on to the next. So that is basically some time management skills at least I myself need to, put into practice first. Anyway, the second thing is to battle against procrastination. Usually when I think of procrastination, I think of like these 15 to a few minutes of delay, and at the end of the day, maybe those 5 minutes of procrastinations put together will equal to maybe 1 hour of me not being productive at all. But it's actually even more severe than I imagined. It is not 1 hour, it at least 2 to 3 hours. And if I don't procrastinate at all, I would have 2 to 3 hours of time added to my day. And if I am able to focus on just one task during that time, I can just get into another flow state, and I get even more tasks done during that 2 to 3 hours that I was supposed to be working. Why 2 to 3 hours? Well, I counted the time when I was lying in bed scrolling through my phone before and after I have my meal. No, those times when I just meander and just do nothing. Those tiny, tired, mindless hours, usually in the afternoon or evening. Perhaps I need to write a better schedule. And speaking of afternoon and evening, I like to speak about this during my stream multiple times actually, about chronotypes. If you're curious, you can look up chronotypes. And a chronotype is, you think of personality type. Different people have different personality. Just like introvert and extrovert, chronotypes, they would have the morning person and the night person. They have different names for different types, so you can look it up if you're interested. The morning people are, of course, they perform at their optimal during morning hours, and they wake up earlier because they are born with a circadian rhythm that caters more to the modern lifestyle, when school and work usually starts at early in the morning. So of course morning people will feel better and are likely to perform better because of that. And my brother is a night owl, so he would study at night because that's when he performs optimally. So when I was his age, I would sleep at maybe 10 to 11 p.m. and he can just go on past midnight and still be able to function. I don't know how he does that. My brain just shuts off after that time, let alone midnight. And anyway, I think this artwork particularly takes up more hours than usual. Not because it is particularly complex. It has something to do with me being unsure about drawing backgrounds, and so I would put up all the reference for myself to scroll through. I would zoom into the details of the mountains at the back, and I was thinking maybe I should change this to that, maybe change this to that, or maybe the colors is too vibrant. I needed to tone it down, and after I toned it down, I thought maybe I should tone it back up, and it just went back and forth for some time. But at the end of the day, and I learned quite a lot actually. This is one of those artwork of which that taught me a lot of lessons, other than environment, also the metal texture, the axe on the left side of the artwork, and also the crystal texture, the foreground, middle ground and background thing. As you can see, in the foreground, the leaves are all blurred and the mountains are blurred. When I drew character portraits, I don't have to apply that usually, but here it is one opportunity for me to practice. So yeah, this is it. This is all I have to ramble about today. Thank you so much for watching, and if you are interested, you can subscribe or like, do the YouTube things, and I'll see you next video. Thank you so much.